bring on board the management of UGRO Capital, Shachindra Nath, Vice Chairman and MD at the company. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in with us as always on ET Now. And I want to talk about the recent guidelines that have come in from the RBI that is beneficial for lenders such as yours. If you could explain our viewers a bit on that and how this is beneficial for the company.
I would say this is an indirect consequence. If you look at the RBI has been showing its concern on two accounts. Obviously, RBI has to rein in inflation. Consumer credit actually increases the inflation. And second, the last 1 year, both the consumer credit and as well as personal loan credit has grown more than 30-odd%. So that ballooning has been actually RBI has been voicing concern around that. And in view of that, finally to take a control on that, they have revised what is called the risk weightage on that. What does it really mean? When suppose somebody has a loan book of 100 and risk weight was 100 rupees, now that would be considered 125. So that on that additional 25 rupees, you have to provide for more capital. So the most of the NBFCs and banks which are focused on this segment of the market would have to provide more capital, so that growth would actually evaporate. But with what it means that especially the banks and banks lending to NBFC, which are focused on MSME exposure, and so this circular doesn't apply to somebody like us because we are 100% small business MSME financing, which is a productive asset financing and helps our economy. You would eventually see some level of liquidity flow coming to players like us, even including in the second part of the circular, where for onward lending by banks to NBFC, where the risk weight has been increased by 25%. There also, because a lot of our borrowing from the banks qualify as priority sector loan, and also because we are a very large player, one of the largest actually in MSME financing for co-lending purposes, banks would move more towards MSME financing, which means more liquidity to players like us.
Right, sir. Let's also talk about, what is interesting is that you've actually managed to keep your NPAs under check, and that is despite clocking that growth of disbursement, high growth in the disbursements. So how have you managed to keep these NPAs under check?
I keep saying we are not in high growth. I think it's a matter of what lens you look at. This is a company which started around 4-5 years back. It raised straight 1,000 crore of capital. Pre-COVID, we were at only portfolio of 1,000 odd or 850 odd crore. During COVID period, we created massive capacity. From 120 people, this company became 1,500 people, roughly around 100 plus location from 8 location, massive data technology infrastructure of 275 people. And as we reached March of 2023, we reached the capacity of 550 crore per month. And this year, actually, we are just simply delivering that capacity, which is now embedded into us. So the growth is a function of the capacity which has been built by this company, and we will continue to grow on that basis. Second, with respect to the credit cost or gross NPA, see, the core challenge for MSME, the gap is 85 trillion rupees in India. The core challenge have been for lending institution to assess the repayment capability of an MSME borrower. We focus on 25 lakh turnover to 15 crore turnover borrower, which we call the underserved MSME customer. And because they are adopting to the GST, the digitization with full force, GST, digital banking, the bureau footprint, our core proposition or core pillar to UGRO's credit underwriting is our data lens. We have a proprietary tool which we call Gro Score, which uses the 2 years of GST data, 2 years of banking data and bureau footprint, and machine says yes and no. And it also calculates the repayment capacity of an MSME borrower without any physical or traditional financing document. And that has allowed us to maintain the credit quality because we look through the lens of data, the real cash flow for an MSME customer.
Quickly, I just want to know that, your risk management strategy, what is that and the process? Because you deal with quite a lot of high risk category borrowers as well. So, you could quickly tell us about that as well.
Again, Sumit, I think so it is just general presumption that MSME borrower generally is a high risk borrower. But you should realize this, we keep saying, chota business, बहुत high intent. So intent pay, on the matter of intent of repaying the loan, this is a customer segment which has a very high intent. Now it is only a question of calculating their ability to pay back. So this is not a high risk customer segment if you filter it well. first and prominent risk management strategy for us is the funnel. Today, out of every 100 loans which we originate, we end up disbursing only 30 customers. So 70% of these loans get rejected by either machine or by our credit teams. Second, all of our loans goes through the process of a data filtration and the repayment capability. And third and last but not least, we
Right.
have find ourselves around 9 sectors, which is India consumption story. And these sectors
Yeah.
are micro resilient, and that continue to do fairly well.
Absolutely, So thank you so much for joining in with us this afternoon on ET Now. It's always a pleasure having you on this show. And thank you so much for that. That was the management of UGRO Capital for you all.